Hi, welcome back to McMorris Prosthetic Services. Today I want to talk about being an advocate for yourself as an amputee and what that really looks like, because you have to do it all the time, and there are a lot of great programs out there that advocate for us, and really our clinicians advocate for us, and our care team as a whole advocates for us, which is awesome. But we also have to advocate for ourselves, and sometimes that looks like calling our insurance company. There are a lot of cases that you can get shut down for or denied on your prosthetic device. The insurance will come back and say, you don't need that device, we're not going to pay for it. And a lot of times the difference maker in getting that approved is just you calling, and maybe calling 2 or 3 times and making a little bit of noise about it to show like, hey, I do want this and I also need it, I deserve it. And that goes a long way. But that also, that's just one small thing. I have to advocate for myself, even at home with my babies, of like, there are just times I need a 30-second break to readjust my leg or whatever it is. And I have to take those times to make sure that I can function at the level that like they need me to function at all of the time. And so being able to advocate for yourself really does take it, from I'm here being a part of my recovery to being active in your recovery. And yeah, you're doing all of that, work in PT and everything else, but then taking it that step further and figuring out, okay, how do I advocate for myself to get myself the things I need? If it's with your prosthetist, sometimes there are cases where it's like, I don't feel like I'm being listened to, I don't feel like I'm being heard. And being able, again, to advocate for yourself, go into your prosthetic office and say like, no, I say those things exactly, I'm not being heard. A lot of times in the beginning, I feel like CPOs really just want to make it as smooth of a process for you as possible. And so maybe they don't go into certain details explaining like why one thing is or isn't. And, for me as a new amputee, I wanted to know all those things. I wanted to know, why are we choosing this foot and what is the plan going forward? And then, why would my insurance say this about me getting a microprocessor knee now compared to 6 months from now? I wanted to know all of those questions. And my clinician telling me all of those things and giving me a little bit of background on all of those things really helped me understand and be more patient with my situation, and understand like, okay, well, we have to wait this amount of time for this, approval, or because fabrication takes X amount of time, and everything else. Me having that understanding, because my clinician took the time to explain those things to me, really helped me in the beginning. And so, as a patient, advocating for yourself and kind of pushing for more of those details, especially, again, I don't think it's something that like clinicians often do, but if it is happening to you and you feel like, oh, I'm just getting kind of rushed through this process and everything's great, but I would like more information, ask for that information. Like, ask why, those questions. Why are we selecting this foot? I've seen, Alec talk about these 3 knees. How come I'm going with this knee instead of this knee? And then learn, because your clinician has reasons why they made those decisions, and you, as you become a more experienced amputee, can be active in those decisions. But you can also help with the fitting process. If you understand, oh, this is what this foot is designed to do, and I'm fit in this suspension above it, I need to be able to communicate what is going on between those two things so that we can solve an alignment issue or a suspension issue or whatever it is. And so you having that base understanding really does help. But a lot of times you have to ask for that. You have to kind of go above and beyond, and come here and look for information, find other amputees out there and ask those questions, find other clinicians out there and ask questions. And I've seen so much benefit in amputees calling their insurance company, and how much that really does, take something from, it's a faceless number, and so it's easy for an insurance to deny that. And then as soon as you call and you say, hey, no, I'm Alec and I am a real human over here on the other end, and I really do need these things because I've got to do all, these 10 things throughout the day. So that's why I need this device. It really does go a long ways. And again, being able to speak on that from experience with a little bit of education on the back end of like, okay, this is what they're looking for. This is, what I am looking for is something that helps me achieve my activities of daily living, and getting those things and explaining it in the correct way really is helpful with the insurances and helpful in getting you where you want to go to reach your goals, and that's really what advocating for yourself does, is help you reach those goals that you have set for yourself at any point. I mean, like I have goals now that I still have to go out and put my name out there, push for, advocate for myself, say, hey, I do know what I'm talking about a little bit. I can help you, or I want to help this situation. I want to help this product, whatever it is, like I have to advocate for myself a lot. And I think that all of us do, and in the world in general, and figuring out the right ways to go about it is the trick, I guess, part of the game. But being an amputee, and advocating for yourself with your clinicians, with your doctors, and with your insurance, if you can build that rapport with your clinician and be like, hey, I really want to know this stuff. Can you explain it to me a little bit more in depth? And then maybe I can help you with your job in getting my devices approved, because I can call for you instead of your billing staff having to spend hours on the phone and everything else. Let me do that and see if we can get this thing pushed through, get you guys paid, get me the devices that I need, and everybody taken care of. And that's a great way to go about building some of that rapport with your clinician and getting just on a more common ground with everyone, so that you don't go in there and feel like you're speaking a different language. Because that happens a lot. That's why there's a vocab video. Check it out. But yeah, this is going to be a little bit shorter video. I'm just at the end of my leave here, so we'll get back into some in-depth things in the coming weeks. But advocating for yourself is important, and it does help you. It goes a long way in getting you the things that you need, and just helping you get to, again, back to those activities of daily living that you want to do. So that's it for this week. We'll see you next time. Thank you.